I want you to go back to parenting. You young men, when you get married and you have children, you gotta parent. You gotta be parents.
I mean, the high school dropout rate in a lot of urban areas is like 50% among, particularly among African-American youth in the major cities. And when they drop out of high school, they're very likely, with 6 out of 10 chance of ending up at some point in prison. So all of the things we talk about in the book, the high incarceration rate, the high school dropout rate, the violence in the black community, what are people going to do if they don't have any money? Is that going to increase crime? Very, 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 very likely.
One of the things that really strikes me about this book, Come On People, is that as a parent with 3 young kids, I think it just has a transcendent message, which is that parenting matters. That you got to be involved in your kids' lives. You got to let them know that you love them.
True.
The president-elect back in June on Father's Day spoke about some of these issues in a pretty blunt way. Let's listen.
If we're honest with ourselves, we'll admit that too many fathers are also missing. Too many fathers are MIA. Too many fathers are AWOL. Missing from too many lives and too many homes. They've abandoned their responsibilities. They're acting like boys instead of men. And the foundations of our family have suffered because of it. You and I know this is true everywhere, but nowhere is it more true than in the African American community. We know that more than half of all black children live in single-parent households. Half. A number that's doubled since we were children.
The first family.
I think what he's saying is very important. And I think parenting is very, very important, and that needs to be emphasized. And the fact that the president is talking about that, I think we need to talk about it much more, so that, you know, it's not just single parents or 2-family homes, it's whether you're a good parent or not is very, very key. And so everyone needs to be educated in that way. I would like to see like a national conference call, you know, on parenting.
No, you're right.
You know, and get everybody on that same kind of wavelength to make a difference for their children, because particularly now.
That few presidents ever have. These shots of him, you know, preparing his young daughters to go off to school, I mean, these are just going to resonate through the psyche of, I think, people in Washington, D.C. and other cities. And if someone said to me in an
Vernon Day, out where your community is, these Jesuits, they have an answer, and they make their boys go out into the community and give service. One of the things I've heard, and I'm sorry to take so much time, but one of the things I've heard is that when a person gives, when a person does a service, that there's something that happens to them emotionally. I've heard people in prison working with prisoners talk about prisoners breaking down and crying because they taught another prisoner, they mentored another prisoner to learn how to read, and that the mentoring person started to cry. You can't, as a policeman said to me, make a man cry by punching him in the face. They don't cry. But here this man is, and it's something emotional about us giving to each other, teaching each other, and that's what this family's talking about.
It's interesting.
Indeed succeed. Let me tell you about this parenting issue, however. We just had a Black Caucus retreat, and parenting emerged as the #1 concern in that retreat. Now, as a public policymaker and a legislator, I think about ways by which we can be helpful in bringing about the kind of public policy that will assist families. And so parenting is one thing that I'm going to spend a lot of time on, because I think that we should dedicate personnel in our public schools to work with parents and to get parents involved. The PTA does not do that, but the teachers cannot do that. The teachers cannot be concerned about what is going on in the classroom and follow the kids home. But if we have a component in the school that's dealing with going to the home, finding out what is happening with this child, what are the circumstances under which they are living, and be able to direct resources toward that family and give family support. I think we can use parenting as a way to begin to deal with these very serious problems where children drop out and children are already considered failures before they reach high school.
Mayor Fenty, how much